Welcome back, guys. Can you believe it? We are already thinking all the gardening things, and I'm excited. So today's video is just to share with you guys some things to think about when if you're going to be starting seeds for the first time, or your own starts. And I will tell you, I was a first-time seed starter myself last year. But I've done a lot of the initial research that you all need, and might as well share what I learned last year, and because I ended up having really a lot of success. And oh, come on, I'll just fill that one up a little bit more. Today's primary purpose is to get my sweet potato starts going. I grew them last year with great success, and well, I grew slips with great success, but they didn't transplant that well. I'm going to try something slightly different this year. Still grow my own slips the same way, but I am going to transplant then those starts to seed pods, so that when they already have a good root hold in some soil before I transplant them out. These are just bamboo skewers. I don't have any toothpicks, and I'm just sticking those in. They'll go into just a jar of water, and I will put them in a windowsill till my greenhouse tower is set up, which is back here in the corner. And I would say you could assume probably 8 starts from each sweet potato. Last year I chose some of my very best sweet potatoes, and I got a lot of feedback like, oh, pick your baby ones for that. You don't need to waste your good ones. So I just went down to my root cellar, the pantry downstairs, picked out some of the smaller sweet potatoes, and that's what we will use this year to start our starts. But I believe I had great success because I followed so many tips from seasoned seed start growers, folks like the Rusted Garden, In My Gardener, Chelsea over at Little Mountain Ranch, people that I really trust and admire. So what I've done is brought in my seed starting materials from my garden shed, got just even down to the basics like my soil bucket, getting that washed and sterilized. So I washed it out, sterilized it with some Lysol. My seed starting trays or the cells themselves are soaking now in dish soap, hot water. I'll then spray them with a final Lysol, let them sit out and dry. Seed starting mix. Now, don't just use this direct out of the bag. You're going to want to sterilize that. And by sterilizing it, boil a big pot of hot water, pour it over it, and then let it cool before you're going to want to use it. Other things that I believe that you're going to want. So also, it was successful for me last year too, because I did not have this huge expense that I had to fork out to get going seed starting. I had been saving all my cells and trays for years, so I had that readily available. So if you're not ready this year to do it, no big deal. Just think about that when you go and buy, flats from the greenhouse or individual pots. Save those, because that'll build up your stock for starting your own seeds indoors when you're ready. One other tip, go get yourself some of this Mycorrhiza Bliss. It's an inoculant that is really good for root health and root stability. I won't get into all the details, do your research, but I swear, for a first-time seed starter, I called it my magic dust last year, that was my amazing success rate, wholly owned to that magic powder. when it came to my tomatoes and peppers, which are two kind of, I mean, tomatoes maybe not so much, but peppers are tricky, and I had nearly 100% success rate. For a first timer, that's like unheard of. But I say all that to say, I am myself going back to watch all of my seed starting videos last year to remember all of the tips I applied. Things that I learned were things like after the first set of true leaves come out on your starts, to start watering with super diluted fish emulsion for the things that need extra feeding before they're ready to pot up. So I did that on a regular cadence. Just a lot of good research and information out there. Some of it, you know, is tricky and conflicting, and I feel like I did a pretty good job sorting through all of the knowledge and information. Now, like, for example, you could totally go and make your own seed starting mix, but from what I've learned from seasoned professionals is it's not really necessary. A seed has what it needs to feed itself in the casing of the seed itself. So just a basic seed starting mix is really all you need. And then you can just nourish it from the water and through your potting up as you need to. Worm castings is another thing great to have on hand at this point in time. You won't need it to get going, but it is a great amendment for when it comes time to potting up your plants. So this is day one, garden season 2022, officially. Right here, right now, I just started my first plants, and that's my sweet potato slips. So these take a long time. It's always the first thing that you should start. If you're in a northern growing zone like me, it is February 13th, almost Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's. And they take anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. I will not plant these out till well beyond any threat of frost, so it'll be June, but they do take a long time. So good luck, guys, in your 2022 gardening season. I wish you all the best. And if you're just learning like me, this is only my second season, starting my own seeds indoors and all my own transplants. So wish me luck. I'll talk to you guys later.